So this is a quick pre-intro on my tour around Sheffield. I missed this pub, it's the last pub as I'm walking back to the car, but I thought I'd show it and then you can watch the rest of the video. So I thought I'd give you a tour around Sheffield Christmas Eve. I've not been down here for 30 years on Christmas Eve, so I'm going to do it from two angles. One is the nightlife, and I'm going to show you our nightlife that's disappeared and some of the modern nightlife, but I'm also going to show you the Christmas lights as well and the atmosphere on a Christmas Eve. So I've not parked in a car park where I've paid for a couple of years, so I've come back in Victoria Quays and it's £3.50 for 12 hours. It's all secure. You get a ticket when you go in and you can get in and out of the door, so your car's quite secure in here. I had a bit of a shock though because it said it shuts at 7 p.m. It just means there's no staff on the phone, so do make sure you've got your ticket so you can get out at the gate at the end as well. So I'm starting in Victoria Quays. Well, what I'll do is get into the Haymarket now, but I thought I'd just give you a quick intro on it. It's quite easy to get in this car park. If you come down the Parkway, turn right onto the A61 and it's the second left, but this is a bar in the Canal Basin. Staff were friendly when I just asked them about the car park, so I thought I'd give it a mention. But I'm walking up to the Haymarket area now, give you the atmosphere in town at night. I did works up last Friday, the illuminations and also the nightlife, so it's going to be a bit of a shock of the nightlife if you come from the 80s like me. So just walking out of the Canal Basin gives you a bit of the atmosphere around here towards Victoria Station, and I'm going to get onto where the old Castle Market was, where you can see that building in front of me with all the lights, which is a car park. That was the old sheaf market or area, but the sheaf market came right down to this road I'm walking across at the moment. So we're on the old Castle Market area, and I just want to show you down Shoe Hill, just up there. You should just be able to see that railway arch, and under it there was a pub called Barrowboy, which was a scar pub, which would be a 1980s. It was going to reopen as the Rag and Tag, but it's never happened. So under that viaduct, which would be Corporation Street, was a Barrowboy back in the 80s. So walking up the Haymarket now, and we're going to come to what was a night spot. Now I can't remember this night spot, but I'm told it was Rebels, a night spot, but where it's now Ladbrokes, that used to be the entranceway into the night spot just here, and I think it ran somewhere above where British Homestones was up there. It'd be interesting to see how many South Yorkshire police are on the streets tonight keeping us safe. We're on the sat behind desks or in lay-by somewhere. But some bit we should see a few Christmas lights up here. But I want to take you up to one of the biggest night spots that was around in my day. So we're now on Angel Street, and you can start to see some of the Christmas lights. Now I looked at a picture back from the 70s, 80s, and it was absolutely fantastic looking down Angel Street at the lights, but as you can see, this is what they've got now. We'll just walk round the corner. Onto Bank Street, and I'll show you the first night spot, or the major night spot. So we're now on Bank Street, just round the corner. I'll show you where Bailey's was, Cavendish, Romeo and Juliet's, and finally Cairo Jack's. And people probably won't believe it, major night spot. We came in here at the end of the night. Well, it's just here, up here on the left hand side, and this is where the job centre is now. So this was one of our major night spots. I don't know how many quid we used to pay to come in here. Can anybody remember how much we paid to come in a nightclub? So this is it. This is where I knew it mainly as Romeo and Juliet. Other people knew it previously to that as Cavendish and Bailey's, and then after I stopped coming in here it became Caro Jack's. So that was sort of the second biggest nightclub in Sheffield from what I remember. So this one's tragic really. This is the boardwalk. I was salsa dancing here back in 2000. We knew it was the Mucky Duck, it was the Black Swan. Quite a big night spot. This one actually got bombed in the war when it was the Black Swan. I think there used to be a Italian hairdressers at the bottom, but gone. So sad. So let's have a walk back up Angel Street. But I'll tell you something, it's really eerie. You wouldn't believe it was Christmas Eve in Sheffield. It's extremely non-indigenous walking around. So, you know, as somebody from the 1980s, it would have been crammed full of people, revellers from Sheffield, born and bred. So let's just we're going to get the next one down on Commercial Street now. So we're on Commercial Street now, we're looking across at Canada House, and we had what was called Bloomers or Turn Ups nightclub in there. And I've never known Commercial Street so deserted. So here we are looking at the Marples, one of the most famous pubs in Sheffield because of the tragic bombing in the Second World War. Rebuilt as this modern venue, and Marples was a fantastic night spot back in the 80s, and it's not anymore. So it just gets more and more tragic really as you walk around and start to see where the nightlife is. It's sort of replicated with a shopping centre where Fargate, High Street, Haymarket, etc. has been completely decimated, and it's reflected in the nightlife as well. Pretty much no nightlife. Just quickly have a look at the penny black down in Pond Street. So we're in a completely deserted Pond Street, but you'd expect that Christmas Eve, wouldn't you? But it's like that nearly all the time anyway. We're across from the Penny Black here. It looks pretty dead inside. And down there you'll find the Queen Zebra. I'm not going to walk that far, but that's the Penny Black. That used to be a thriving pub in town. So let's get up, sort of up towards the Rundle gate. But what I'm just going to show you here is, you can see the Odeon. That was the Fiesta nightclub. It shut down after the Crucible opened, quite a few years after, but that was a massive place for Shirley Bassey, Tom Jones and people like that, big class acts. Then up here we've got what was known as Top Rank Suite, Steely's, Barry Noble's, Roxy's, whatever you want to call it. I think that was the biggest nightclub in Sheffield. It's a bit rougher than Romeo and Juliet's. Wasn't as keen going in there, and I quickly got into Romeo and Juliet's, found it a bit nicer. So we're in Fitzallen Square. It's a little bit difficult balancing the light conditions because sometimes I need to do manual and other times I can get away with automatic. I'm on manual at the moment, so you can see the actual Christmas illuminations now. They were fantastic round here, and this is so poor. They went all the way down the Haymarket, they went down Commercial Street, and then they also went down Angel Street as well. But they're pretty non-existent. It's a bit of a token. Let's just get at the top of Haymarket. So just looking down Haymarket, that's as good as it's going to get. It's really appalling. It's better in Worksop. We'll get up to a Rundle gate to pick up the next set of pubs. I'm probably missing some, but I think we all had our own, and you tended to go with the crowd. We're coming to where the hole in the road was. I'm turning left onto a Rundle gate because I want to show you where the Mulberry Tavern was. I thought it was called the Rendezvous Bar at some stage as well, and at one bit it was the well, it is the Yorkshireman, so it's still open. Let's just get to the other side of the road, but I'm not going to get pit in people's faces while they're drinking. So that's the Yorkshireman on the other side of Rundle Gate. But that's not the original name. It was definitely Mulberry Tavern at one bit. The Yorkshireman's only recent because they knocked the Yorkshireman down just off Barker's Pool, and they renamed this pub Yorkshireman, but it's not the traditional name. So I think it was once Rendezvous Bar. So what we used to do is we used to come in here when we come into Sheffield, have a pint in here, and then before we're getting on the bus at the end, we come back in here as well in what I knew was the Rendezvous Bar, but also Mulberry Tavern. So right across from the Mulberry Tavern was the Claymore. It's now a convenience shop. It's really sad, this. So the Claymore was like a Scotch plaid pub. I can remember dancing in there back in 2000 as well. Salsa dancing upstairs. That was my first go at dancing. So uncomfortable at the time. But I ended up doing demonstrations in the end when we used to have the chance to dance in Sheffield. So you soon lose that lack of confidence in dancing when you actually do it. I just want to show you the big night spots from here. So here is where the top rank suite was. Now the O2 Academy, well, it's shut down because they've got concerns about concrete. So that's another massive night spot gone. And then you can see the front entrance to where the Fiesta was, which is now the Odeon Cinema. So we're looking right across at where the Fiesta was. I think it then became Napoleon's, and then it's become the Odeon Cinema. What a tragic loss to Sheffield, bringing those big acts into Sheffield. I know my parents used that back in the 70s, saw some big acts there. So I've just been having a chat with a guy who runs the Yorkshireman, and he said it's very tough. They're open full time at the moment because of Christmas, but things are not being helped by the budget. So we're just about slap bang in the middle of the hole in the road, and you can see the Banker's Draft here. This was HSBC Midland Bank, then it's become a Wetherspoons. I think it's quite a popular pub, this. And then we've got one next to it called the Glory Hall, and that doesn't even look like it's open. That's a bit strange on a Christmas Eve. It's normally open on a Saturday afternoon, so I don't know what's going off with that. It's got a sign on it, but it's shut down. So we're on High Street now. Oh, let's just look down for you. So you all remember what the Christmas illuminations were like on High Street. So that's your High Street, basically zero illuminations. Sorry, we're on High Street but looking down Commercial Street. But also talking to the chap who owns the auction, and he was saying that there have been some like illegal night spots open and then the council licence them. And one of the issues with one of the local shops is they were selling alcohol to people who shouldn't be having it all the time, sort of thing, and that's causing problems. So they're quite happy to have competition, but they want the right type of competition. So just coming up here, where you can see Sainsbury's local, I think it was just to the left where it was a crazy daisy. Somebody's in the doorway, so I don't want to get too in anybody's face, but you can see that was Crazy Daisy there. And you went down some steps, that's where Human League met. I think it was Crazy Daisy, Geisha Bar, or whatever. But somebody's laid up in that entranceway. So we're now looking up High Street, and what I'll do is I'll just pop up to the Stone House. But there you can see the lights better on Fargate. They look half decent on Fargate. But looking back down that end, there's nothing. So that's Fargate. Carry on up Church Street, and we'll have a look at where the Stone House was. So we're outside the cathedral. You can see the nice Christmas tree. But when I walked past the hole in the road, there used to be a massive Christmas tree down there as well. So we're on Church Street, and I'm outside what was the Stone House. Now, there used to be a courtyard on the Stone House called the Shambles, but when they opened Orchard Square, it shut down. The Stone House carried on for a number of years, but it's been closed quite a long time. Now, between those two lights, there used to be a Georgian doorway with steps up into it. So that was one of the best pubs in Sheffield. We all wanted to go in Shambles early on a Christmas Eve. Spent my Christmas Eve in the Shambles for some of the time. We're on Campo Lane, outside something called the Couch, and I thought this was a pub here. But I think it was called the Golden Boar, was it? That's Silver Street, head down there, taking you towards HSBC. Now, I thought the Wigan Pen was a bar as well again, and it's dead. So I've walked past on a Saturday and it looks like there's a bar in here, but it's Christmas Eve and it's shut. I can't imagine it's shut down again, but it just gets more tragic. So I didn't quite know what this place did, but I thought it was a bar. I mean, cocktail week there, so I just want to get in and show you the Dove and Rainbow from the back. I forgot all about it. So we're coming into Artshead Square, and this is the back of the Banker's Draft. But right next to the Banker's Draft is the Dove and Rainbow. Oh, it looks dead. I think we must be at least 8 o'clock, and there's nobody in now. The Dove and Rainbow used to be absolutely rocking. And you remember the green ones that used to be all over the walls in it, and you can just see, I can only see bar staff and a few people sat down. There's the back of the banker's draft. But this would have been absolutely jacked on a Christmas Eve. So we're now coming on to what does actually look like illuminations, but this would have been all the way down High Street, down Commercial Street, Angel Street, and this is all we've got now on. Fargate. It's still looking like a building site, as you can see. There's one of the illuminations not working up there. Now, say I come from the 80s, I think I'm living in the future. This must be the past, I'm sure. To see the Dove and Rainbow with a few bar staff. We'll know the exact time, whether it's 8 o'clock or beyond, but I'd have been out at 8 o'clock on Christmas Eve night. But remember the Hit by Human League, Sound of the Crowd. I think that really reflected what Sheffield used to be like, Sound of the Crowd. And if you listen to the words of it, that reflected Sheffield. We had ABC, we had M17, we had Cabaret Voltaire, we had Pulp. They came from the 80s but didn't really hit it till the 90s. And now they talk about Arctic Monkeys. They're not a patch on any of them groups as far as I'm concerned. I think it was noisier in Works up last Friday. Little market town of 40,000 people. Looking down to St Marie's Cathedral. Now I noticed on a Facebook page of the council, somebody saying how fantastic the lights were in Sheffield. So outside the town hall, I've had to just turn the light down a bit so you can see the illuminations clearer, otherwise you lose them. We're looking down Surrey Street. Let's have a quick walk down Surrey Street. So if I turn the lights down too much, or the light down too much, I lose the clarity of the buildings, because I think you need to get a bit of both the clarity of the buildings and also the lights. But walking down Surrey Street, but listen how quiet it is. just down Norfolk Street because we've got the Brown Bear here. And this is one of the pubs owned, is it by Sam Smith's? So you can't have a mobile phone, you can't swear, I think you've got to dress sensibly. And I do know who the landlord is here because he's a local from where I live. And I was shocked one day when somebody told me he was a landlord there. So we've got Head of Steam here. I think this is an old RBS branch or something. But it don't look exactly packed, looking through the windows. That is really weird. There's not a lot else down that way, so I'm just going to head back up here. So that's in the Brown Bear, there's nobody in it. Got a bit of steakhouse across there. So we're sort of walking into Tudor Square. That's a Mediterranean restaurant there going into the Winter Gardens. Looking at the library, so having some work done on it. But we're in Tudor Square. Now I don't know if these are bars in Tudor Square or not, but there ain't a lot of life going ahead here. This is the Head of Steam. Thought it were over there. So looks absolutely dead in there. So we're at the Graduate now. And it looks shut. I thought this were a pub. So this is the Graduate and it's in darkness. Let's just have a quick nip down to Globe. I'm not going to walk all the way down to the Howard Street Hotel. So we're on Howard Street outside the Globe pub, and if you look in the windows there's nobody here. It is absolutely deserted. Absolutely deserted. There's a handful of people in it. So we're walking down to Pinstone Street now. But I didn't even bother going down to the Howard to show you whether there's anybody in the Howard. I've just spoke to somebody and said there's no nightlife in Sheffield. I don't even know if he spoke English. There didn't seem to be any communications with him at all. So it's 9 o'clock, Christmas Eve. As you can see, there's an awful lot of taxis hanging around. But when we come downtown, sometimes we come downtown and get on the late bus. But that won't be possible anymore. And other times we get one of these taxis that weren't registered as a taxi. So coming down Leopold Street, we've got All Bar One, but wasn't this called something slightly different? Have they slightly changed the name of it? All Bar One. But that's empty, there's nobody in there. I know there used to be a pub around here, but I think these are new pubs, possibly. But I knew there was a pub just round here originally. We'll have a quick look in Leopold Square. But I don't think there's a lot going off in Leopold Square. So in Leopold Square, it looks dead. A few nice lights. Look more like food eating places, but there's certainly very few people around here. Cuban bar. So I did my display for Modern Jive in there one summer back in about 2006-07. But just look at All Bar One. I think there's All Bar One in it. Now we've got I think it's the Bessemer here, is it? But I remember it having a different name. And rather than, this seems to be an upstairs pub now, and I'm absolutely sure when I came into this, it used to be a downstairs pub. Now there's a few people in there, that looks a bit more full of people, that one. Definitely quite a lot of people in there compared with the rest of Sheffield. You see the taxis queued up round here. They're everywhere. There's nobody in town. So we'll come back to Marcus Pool in a moment. But I'm going to pop down to, I think, what was the Offenbrow?
Oh, fuck yeah. He's just over at Hutchison. Oh my god.
We'll have a quick walk down Pinstone Street and look for Offenbrow where it was, but as you can see up there, I'm just going to have to turn my light down again. So you've got the Christmas tree. It looks nothing like the Christmas tree we used to have here. It used to be massive. Looking across, we've actually got a Merry Christmas in Sheffield outside the town hall. In Cairns, London, you're not allowed to say Merry Christmas at the market. So walking down Pinstone Street, this is where the actual Christmas market was. Now Manchester I think has already took theirs down. We'll have a quick look in the Peace Gardens. So you can see Sheffield lit up. Now somebody made a comment just before I left house that he'd have a lot of litter to pick up when he's back at work. Sorry. There's a lot of litter to pick up there. You can see the Alpine Lodge, not very well. Lose some of the definition. When I'm doing the lights I've got to turn it down, it just don't all these markets are now deserted, so I wonder how long it'll be before they get these down. But the born and bred Sheffielders are like me, will be absolutely horrified with what they're seeing. A lot of people who weren't here before '94 really won't get it. So we're looking down to Emery's, and I'll come back to Emery's. So Sheffield Lights used to be as good as Blackpool, and you could drive from one end of Sheffield to the other, up Fargate, down here and down the Moor in your car, show your kids the lights. And this is all we've got left. So you can see the big wheels not running at the moment. I'm not going down the Moor because there's not a lot to see. I think there were only really one pub down the Moor, and that was the Pump Tavern. But I'll veer to the left, show you where the Offenbrow was. But I knew it as Berlin's more than anything, one of my favourites, and then I'll sort of veer to the right and come back up. I'm told that the young don't drink as much nowadays, but I don't believe that, because the alcohol problem is now worse than it ever has been. After lockdown, or during lockdown, the volume of people dying from alcohol, well, look at this, it's going to be bad, dying from alcohol poisoning directly has gone up something like, I think it was 7% or something like that. That's why I always think it's far better to drink in the company of other people. Even though I don't drink anymore, I always think I never drink at home. It's better to socialise, meet people. And I think that's what the lockdown did. Push people into drinking at home on their own and drinking too much. Probably because of the fear as well. We're coming down to Air Street, and this is where Berlin's was. Well, I think it was the Offenbrow. But people will correct me. So I'm absolutely sure this is where Berlin's was, but I think this has become Coast Sheffield, or was Coast Sheffield. But I knew it was Berlin's, and I did come in here if it was Offenbrow as well, but it's not one I frequented too often. But you can just see whether it opens later, I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely Coast Sheffield. So Miss Havisham was prepping me up on this one. So whether Coast Sheffield's open or not, I don't know anymore. But we just knew it. I just knew it was Berlin's. That was my favourite time in here. So I'll take you up to Rundle Gate up there, and down Air Street down there. We'll cut back across now towards Division Street. So I've just walked down to the bottom of the moor just to show you the lights down here. You can see the amount of rubbish, but people are leaving it where the bins are. There's just nobody emptying them. They must be on holiday. Like they say, the gentleman who's going to be picking it up when he gets back to work. I'm sorry for spoiling your Christmas if you're watching this on Boxing Day. You can see where the market stalls are at the bottom of the moor. But if you look at the old pictures from the 1970s and 80s and look at the Christmas illuminations on the moor, you'll be able to search for them on Google. You'll just see how fantastic it used to look down here and how pitiful it now is. People say this is good. So that's bottom of the moor. And I'm going to get back up towards Cambridge Street and get towards Division Street and West Street, where I think there's got to be some life. So we're across from the Light Cinema. I think this is Charter Row round here. That's Furnable Gate just there. And this is another one, Roxy Ballroom. This is shut as well. Christmas Eve shut. Roxy Ballroom. Another night spot shut on Christmas Eve. So we're now round the back of John Lewis, and I think the Wapentake cash bar or whatever it was somewhere around here, or was it there? So it was either there or there across from John Lewis. That's the Grosvenor headquarters of HSBC, and just here was one of my favourite pubs, Emery's. Now whether it'll become a pub again, I don't know. To me that was one of the fantastic pubs, and it was actually originally the Barleycorn, I think. Somebody asking me if I wanted a taxi, but I think that was where the Wapentake was. We've just lost the Yorkshireman just round the corner. So this is Burgess Street, where the Salvation Army building is, but right just here. This is where you can see the white board. Was the Yorkshireman, which is now on a Rundle Gate. You got the Radisson Blue Hotel there. But that was another building, huh? Was it really that bad they had to knock it down, the Yorkshireman? Or did it get in the way of development? But there's a big food hall behind there, that looks pretty deserted. There's nobody upstairs either. Now I thought Sheffield had got a blue ribbon for nightlife. This always used to be the busiest night of year in Sheffield. So we're walking up Cambridge Street, where you can see the Grosvenor, the Hippodrome. Cinema used to be down there. I think there may be a pub up here, but we've lost a pub just here. I think this was the Sportsman, which is a white building. This is going into the food place. We're now in Barker's Pool. Looking across at the City Hall. Just going to turn around and show you. So that's Wetherspoons, there's nobody in it, absolutely none, but free house, look at it, nobody in it. And look at Benjamin Huntsman. Whether it's shut. Don't know whether it's open or shut. So we're now in Barker's Pool. And I'm just going to show you where Josie's was. But, you know, Josie's was a nightclub, whereas what we're now seeing, I think it's just a pub that's open all day, the Manhattan. I'll just show it, yeah. But we have got a fountain in Barker's Pool, but it's nothing like Goodwin Fountain that we had on Fargate. They've got the Manhattan bar, and I think when I came to Josie's we used to walk up sort of in this direction. I think we came up from this side, but it's been changed round from what I can remember. I don't even think the Manhattan bar is where Josie's was, but I could be wrong. So this is a Prownton precinct and this is Manhattan. So was Josie's actually there? Was it straight in front? Possibly we came up this way and into Josephine's that way. But it's like even with the City Hall, we used to have tea dances Saturday, Tuesday and Thursday, and it's only now on a Thursday since lockdown. But I definitely didn't come into the Josephine's nightclub this way, and this was the older nightclub really. When you matured a bit you started coming in here, so like I say, I don't know whether this is shut or open. There's nobody in it. Oh. Well, anybody who's ever been to a tea dance, this is a modern entrance way. When they did the ballroom up, it used to be, I think, at the bottom end. But that's a Thursday. At the moment, that's all there is. We're coming on to Division Street now.
Marina.
So here we've got Yates's bar. I've been in here at lunchtime, midweek, and it's even and there's nobody in again. just see for yourself. It looks shut, but it's going off. So it must be getting on for 9:30, 10 o'clock now. So we're coming down the side of the town hall. Got something called Cozy Club. There's a handful of people in there. Absolutely a handful. And then we've got Turtle Bay. There's no replacement for our nightlife that we had. Turtle Bay here. And then we've got MJ there. Let's just have a quick walk up Division Street and then I'll probably pop down West Street and call it a night. But I know New Year never used to be fantastically packed. But compared with this, New Year was humming. I think this is a Wetherspoons here, the old waterworks. There's nobody in again, absolutely dead. So I found a couple of lads from Sheffield and they're going to say what they think about it. You're going to have to keep it clean, lads, though.
Absolutely terrible. There's no one here. It's meant to be busy. Blue Ribbon Award for Nightlife, and it's empty. There's not a single soul in any pub or club. Terrible.
Yeah.
Every weekend it's busy.
So we're going up Division Street, seeing if there's anything at all. Now there's a serious homeless problem in Sheffield, but I've not seen a lot of homeless people. I think there's a charity trying to get them off the streets at the moment. But I don't dwell on it. I'm not here to score any points. So we're on Carver Street now, and there used to be some pubs down here. I think this was the Metro bar just here, and you can't get in. So there was Dickens upstairs and Metro downstairs, if this is right. I'm sure it's called the Orb now, but I'm sure that was the Metro bar. Fantastic in there. And then Dickens, I didn't like it so much upstairs, so that looks shut because I don't think you can get in there. But them lads were saying that they wish they come from 80s where people weren't so much on the mobiles all the time. So we had a night spot down here on Carver Street, and I can't remember the name of it, but so I'm sure that's where the night spot was. We always had to queue on it to get in it. It was either here or just down here, I can't remember. But I know we had a night spot. I think it was just there where it says Pop World. I'm sure that's our nightclub there on Carver Street, but people probably remember. This one's called Tropicana. But when I spoke to one of the lads, he said it was about 20 to 10. I don't think I've seen a single girl dolled up, you know, as though they were coming on a night out. At least you saw it in Worksop on last Friday night. But I'm told it was actually busy in Sheffield last Friday. So I think I'm going to cut back across to West Street now and see what I can find up West Street. Unless I can just get the frog and nightgown down here. But even it looks like the forest is shut as well. It's quite early when I do work, so 7:30, 8 o'clock. It's now nearly 10 o'clock in Sheffield, and I saw more people out on a night out last Friday in Worksop. So outside the Frog and Parrot now. Oh, this is there's nobody in it. Christmas Eve in the 80s, you wouldn't have moved in here. So we'll get on to West Street and then I'm going to wrap it up, but I just wanted to show you whether they've shut down early because nobody's coming out or whether they didn't bother opening. There's no definitely staff working behind the bar and that. So I've now cut across to West Street, and the lad said if I actually found some life on West Street they'd be really upset watching my video another day. I don't think I'm going to find any nightlife, really don't. There's a few food places, but they're mostly foreign food places now. It's looking very much like London Road down here. I thought it was more student-in pubs. But I'm still really waiting to see a lady dressed up for the night out, because I ain't seen any. So that's the Beehive. That looks shut. It gives you an idea. So we've got the Cavendish here. That looks like a pub or bar. Well, it's a food place, but it's looking very London Roady down here now. The wick at both ends. I expected a bit of a disappointment with Sheffield. Like, Worksop was 50% of what it was in the 80s. Well, I don't think Sheffield's a third or even a quarter of what it was. Even with all the new pubs that's now open, it seems absolutely nothing. I come past the Loyal Trooper and Lee's Arms at Southampton, and there was far more life in them than I've seen in Sheffield. So the Hallamshire Hotel. And I thought nightlife had swung over to West Street. And what I'll do is, when I get down to bottom of the West Street, back into town centre, I'll wrap it up. If I find anything else, it'll carry on after. But I don't think I'm going to find anything else as I come back through town to the Canal Basin where I've parked. So we've got, I think, an Irish bar there. That's Irish Tavern. Sounds lively, but certainly a few people in there. Fire pit there, but look at it. Now West Street Live, wasn't that West Street Hotel? I mean, we had Anaran's up this side of town. You had a bit of a drive up towards the university. We had another great, was it West End up here? Up the other end of this road as well. So I don't know if this is another one, Mr. Wilson's, or not, but certainly not open. But I'm not seeing a single policeman or police car. Unless there was a siren going on a police car, but I've been in town for 2 or 3 hours. So that's Carver Street. That one's called the Walkabout. Bit hard to tell with that one. Unless that was the Dickens and the Metro bar downstairs, people probably remember. Have I shown you the wrong one? Whether that's... I'm starting to wonder now whether that was the Dickens and the Metro beneath, not the one I told you earlier. It's so confusing, things have changed so much. Where I've gone out everywhere where there should be some nightlife. That's Four Leaf. The last place is Trippett Lane. But the Four Leaf Irish pub and kitchen, shut. So we've sort of round the back, I think, of Leopold Street here. I'm just going to have a quick walk down Trippett Lane. And that's, to me, going to be the last patch you could see any life, which... I'm going to call this a washout. The lights are a complete disappointment. Just here we got Maggie Mays, that's shut. Makes me wonder if it's completely geared up to students now, and if students went home last Friday. Now, didn't Richard Burns tell me to go in this one? Richard, what's happened to Dog and Partridge? Shut. And we've got last one, Trippet Lane, Lounge Bar. I was hoping to have probably an half myself on, but there's nowhere, it's no life. I don't mind going in bar and listening to a bit of music, but there's Trippet Lounge Bar. Shut. Oh, it might have been grapes. Was it grapes, Richard, or was it Dog and Partridge you mentioned? But they don't look much life in there either. These lights are on, but few people in, but can't see a lot of life. So you can like the video, follow the channel and click on notifications for new videos in the future. I'd appreciate it. Sorry to disappoint you, it's a washout both with the lights and with the nightlife. The blue ribbon or whatever award Sheffield's got don't seem to be working, does it? But if I find anything else on my walk back, it'll carry on. But if I don't, it's the end of the video. Over and out from Sheffield.